Hello English learners, this is Michael here and welcome back to another outdoor video. Outdoor English lesson is what I'm calling this. So today I have come to a town called Sevenoaks in Kent and I'm going to be looking for some deer today. That's my mission. I came here before and I saw lots of deer, although now it's a little bit busier than last time. So I'm not sure if we'll see anything, but we're going to have a look around and try to find some, and I'm going to give you some vocabulary, some expressions and all that kind of stuff along the way. So I hope you enjoy it, hope you enjoy the scenery, it's a really beautiful spot, and yeah, let's get started. Thank you for watching. So Knole Park, where I am now, is a National Trust site. It's got a huge building, which I'll show you in a minute, and it's got about 400 rooms in the building. It's quite impressive. And according to their website, this park has a large deer population. It says 350 strong. So when we say strong after a number, it kind of means like at least that amount, or like a large amount of deer. So there's a lot here, and we're going to have a look for them now. I wonder if any of you know what we call a group of deer as well. If you have more than one deer together, it's called a herd of deers. Same for cows as well. Herd of deer, herd of cows. So let's try and find a herd. That would be cool. And I guess it is springtime, so that means there are going to be lots of young ones, babies around as well. So that might be kind of good to see, but obviously we have to do our best to keep a distance. Okay, I've already found one. I found a small herd of deer. There's some baby ones, there's some adult ones. I'm not going to get too close, but I'll see if I can get a good video to show you guys. It's just up ahead. There's quite a lot of them here. Some other people gathered around as well, so be careful. They're quite tame. They're quite tame. So tame is how we describe deer when they're friendly. Or not deer, but any animal. If any animal is friendly, we call it tame. The opposite of tame would be wild. Wild deer. But these are wild deer, but they are quite tame. So they're not really bothered by people. Here you go, the first deer, already found them. I'm not going to get too close, but here we go, they're just grazing away. So when an animal is just like, eating grass in a field, we call it grazing. Walking around eating grass, there he goes. And there's his friend over there as well. They're very cute. This one appears to have no antlers. I don't know why, whether it's been cut off by people or whether it's just fallen off. I don't know much about deer. But an antlers, these are the kind of horns that they have on their heads. They're called antlers. So hopefully you can see ahead of me, we found a whole herd of deer. Whole herd of, they look like quite young ones to me, but I don't really know. The name for the young ones, a young deer, they have different names. It depends on the species. So it's a little bit confusing, but sometimes they can be called a fawn. In some species, they can be called a kid, which is the same for a baby goat. So they're called kids. And in some species, they can be called a calf as well, which is the same name for a baby cow. Calf or fawn. Female deer can usually be called a doe or a hind. A male deer, again depending on the species, can either be a stag or a buck. Very specific vocabulary, but it might be useful. Some animals share the same words. According to the National Park website for Knole Park, the herd's ancestors, so the ancestors are the deer that came before, like their family, it stretches back, I think, 500 years, a long, long time. And apparently it's even older than the park itself. So I think like people built the estate here, people built the house after the deer were here. So the deer aren't really new. And when we say estate, an estate is like a really, really big mansion, a really big house. So I'm going to turn the camera around now and show you the huge estate here. We're not going to go inside, but I'm going to show you the outside because it's quite impressive. So here is the estate. Really, really big, and it's open for National Trust members and things like that. And that's a really good tip. So if you do want to come to the UK on a trip in the future, I recommend getting a membership with the National Trust. because there's so many like beautiful old historical buildings and parks you can visit. It's a really worthwhile thing to do, so that's something I would recommend. This park itself, the wall was first enclosed around the park. It was first enclosed, which means it was kind of separated from the rest of the countryside in the year 1455, I believe. It was really, really old, and that was for the purpose of hunting. This is something quite cool I've just noticed as well. This is a sycamore tree, and it's 200 years old. So it dates back almost half the length of this park itself. It's a 200-year-old sycamore tree. So as I'm sure you can see and hear behind me, there's quite a lot of people here today. So I think this is the first week or so, almost the first week, where the lockdown in England has started to be eased. So if it's been eased, that means it's made kind of more or less restrictive. So we can do more things now. So people can come to these parks in small groups and don't have to worry about getting in trouble. But where I'm trying to go is to go off the beaten path. So off the beaten path means kind of far away from where many people go, maybe into the woods, and hopefully we'll see some more interesting stuff there as well, maybe more deer. So let's see what we can find. Okay, I'm still tracking some deer here, and you know, one reason I know that I'm close is this. I don't think I need to tell you what that is, do I? But if you're a little bit strange and you want some poo vocabulary, a good way to talk about deer poo, or any animal poo, we call it droppings. It's much more polite, of course, only for animals though. So if you're ever like looking for animals, or you see something on the floor that maybe smells a bit bad, we can call it droppings. So there's deer droppings everywhere around here. So that's how I know that we are close. Yeah, there's a word I bet you weren't expecting to learn today. And yes, we are close. Here is a deer right ahead. See, they're really, really abundant in this park. They're all over the place. So I hope you can see that one ahead. Okay, and we finally found some stags as well. Remember, stags are the male deer. So they're very well camouflaged. I don't know how well you can see. I don't know if you can make it out clearly. But you see these stags have got very big antlers. If you look over here, you should see him hiding in the grass there with very big antlers. So that's why I don't want to get too close. I don't want him to charge at me. But yeah, very beautiful animals. See, even though it's not the warmest and sunniest day today, you can see people are crowding here. People are flocking to the park. You can see all the people, you know, spread throughout the valley down there. So that's exactly what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to get off the beaten path, somewhere a little bit quieter, also somewhere where people won't laugh at me for making a video, right? Now, another great thing I love about this park is it's good to come at any time of year, you know? So last time I came was in the autumn, and it was so cool because there were nuts everywhere and all these kind of mushrooms to find. And I'm not brave enough to try to forage for some mushrooms, but I was foraging for quite a few nuts. So I picked up lots of kind of chestnuts that had fallen from the tree. And it's quite a common thing to do here in the UK. You can like forage for some berries or some nuts. And if you forage, that kind of means you're collecting food from nature, from the plants. You're picking up from the plants. So that was a fun activity to do, and maybe I'll do that again next year as well. One thing I love about a lot of the deer here is, I think it's what makes them really cute, is that they look so tidy, they look so well groomed. But some of the deer here also look quite scruffy. So if a deer is scruffy, that means it's kind of disheveled is another word, a very hard word, disheveled, scruffy, where everything's a little bit messy. So some of the deer look a bit scruffy. So that's a good word to use as well, to describe someone's appearance being a little bit messy. So I decided to walk up this interesting looking path because I just saw a deer dart out across the path. It sprinted across the path. So it darted out of nowhere. So I want to see if there's any more activity up here. Oh, I can see some deer ahead. Wow, a huge herd of them just ran away from us. It seems like the deer in the forest are a lot more timid than the ones in the valley. And again, according to the website, some of the deer in this park are indigenous to the park, indigenous to the UK. Indigenous is another way of saying native, so they've always been here. But many of the deer are also, you could say, imported almost. They're sent from abroad. So some of these are Japanese deer, some of them come from Europe. You've got different deer here. There's a whole lot of them up there, all wondering, hey, what's that guy doing talking to himself? I'm going to cut the video here today, so I just want to thank you all for watching to the end. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. I love making these outdoor videos, and it's a great kind of way for me to improve and get better. I want to kind of make better videos in the future, and hopefully more useful ones as well. So your feedback really does help me kind of know what I should do more of. So thanks so much for today, and until next time, keep studying, but I'll see you later. Bye-bye.